to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
And Beth?
I'm Eve.
And we're back again. It's been a long week.
Look how color coordinated we are.
Well, I know, but I didn't wear I should have worn...
These are shirts my brother gave us.
Yeah. These are not the ones we made. If you saw our special episode, we were making
tie-dye shirts.
Tie-dye shirts, but these are not them.
That's why I said most of the tie-dye shirts that I wear are that I did. But Tim, I think, bought these from somebody who made them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have a green one.
My brother lives in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Quite a few artisans there.
So, anyway, we're back, and I'll go first because I got almost nothing to talk about.
Okay.
I didn't bring any knitting today because I looked at all my stuff and I was like, either I need the iPad to do it or I'm not interested. So I brought instead my cross stitch. Look, see? That's the requisite amount of cross stitch I do on every pattern. But I thought I'd try to do a little bit more. But here's I'll put a picture up, but here's the Sienna claws that I got because I like Sienna. So that's me.
That's because she's a gnome.
I've been knitting all week. I have been keeping to my schedule, I guess.
Except when it says for you to do your class.
Well, that's tomorrow. No, but so one of the things was my long-suffering son's sweater was yesterday, and I took my dad to the doctor, and I would have had an hour to sit there. And I just, as I was running out the door, I went into the room where I keep all my stuff. And I looked up, like, oh, it's Eli's sweater. Okay, and I grabbed the bag, and I walked out the door, and I forgot that because of my needle shortage, I had taken the needles off and used them in
That's
another
what that
project.
post meant.
Yeah, and so I just had the two little ends with the stoppers on. So I gave my knitting a ride to the doctor.
You know, you should tell that story about cleaning your kitchen in case they didn't watch the tie-dye video.
Yeah, so I talked about it in our video that went out on Friday.
But sat on my foot.
But yeah, we were cleaning our kitchen this week because we just got, we got into this wild hair that we wanted to move things around because my pots and pans have been in this most inaccessible cabinet since we moved in.
In
2010.
I identify with
Why
that.
have I not moved them in 11 years? So we're like, okay, let's move them. So part of that was, you start to pull the thread and the whole thing comes unraveled, right? So you get everything out of this cabinet, and then you get everything out of that cabinet, and then you want to move something into this So it's like we had, right by our stove, we had...
It's like the little slider puzzles you get when you're a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Right by the stove, we had our china, kind of tucked away in there. And our pots and pans were in this corner where I had to, move a stool that we keep by the fridge, and it's right by the fridge, and it's all awkward. So we decided to move them across the kitchen to a cabinet that had it was our junk cabinet, and it had all of our bottles, water bottles and all kinds of stuff like that, and all kinds of weird stuff. So we had to take everything out of there. Then we put the pots and pans in there, and then we moved the china from the cabinet right by the stove into the corner cabinet. But also in the expensive china cabinet was also our plastic kid dishes that we've kept, which are just as precious, right? All our, Veggie Tales and what else?
Do you have Lord of the Beans?
Yeah, I think we have a Lord of the Beans one. We have just this ABC one. We have, with dividers.
I lost the T-shirt plate that I used to give him his grilled cheese on the T-shirt plate. I don't know
the shape like a T-shirt? Yeah, we also have the pizza plates, right? So anyway, we have a stack of plastic dishes that we've just sentimentally kept, and they're good for, once in a while you need something. And we put them but Mark had put them in the floor, in the center of the floor, and I don't know why, he just moved them there. And they were there, and Eli came in to help us, and he's walking back and forth, and he's got a blind spot on his right side, and it may not have even been that, but one of the times he was walking toward Mark, away from me, he stepped on those plastic plates, and they slid out from under him, and he landed smack on. He didn't fall. He fell slow. How he tried to stop him. How you try to stop yourself. Mm-hmm. So he didn't hit hard, and I thought he'd hit his hip, but it was more like his lower back. And I felt so bad. I felt so awful. Anyway, so that was an adventure the other night. What else has been going on in my life? Nothing else, I guess. Just I have a heart monitor on, so if you see me pressing buttons during this, that's why. But other than that, I don't know. I've just been plugging away, getting ready for Hannah to come home Monday night.
Except that you forgot what
Monday
time she
afternoon.
was coming home.
Yeah, I thought I even said it. She always arrives at night because we try to let her leave like later in the day so she doesn't have to get up super early. But this time we were looking for really good price flights because actually this whole flight I bought her 2 one-way tickets because I could buy one with her travel funds and one with Mark's points. So anyway, so because it was the cheapest flight, it was super early. She has to leave Boston early. And so she's getting in at noon. But in my mind, I just always assumed she was coming at night. So we scheduled a bunch of appointments and stuff. I realized she was coming in at noon. I'm like, uh-oh. So yesterday, before, like at 4 o'clock, Mark and I are calling doctors and changing appointments and stuff. It's like, oops.
So you
yeah.
changed Dad's appointment, right?
No.
No?
That's at 3 o'clock and you're taking him.
Oh, I thought you changed it.
No, I changed Eli's appointment. And
I got
Mark
a
changed his
notification
appointment.
that something was changed.
No. Anyway, we'll talk about that after.
Sorry.
No, it was canceled for the 24th.
Oh, okay.
Because we had made that a long time ago, but we're going to the mountains. So I canceled that. That's what that was.
Tell how much attention I pay.
Yeah. She just, yeah.
I look at the calendar the day before and go, what am I supposed to be
Me
doing?
too. That's what I do. Like at night, I'm like, what's this? But yeah, so that's all.
So so you made a working copy
Oh
of
yeah.
your pattern.
So the pattern, it's a big, kind of heavy duty paper. I have it in my bag, but I made a working copy of it, and so I can scribble and keep track of where I am.
Did you show the
Yeah, I showed that,
pattern?
but I'm gonna
Okay.
put a picture up because it's kind of small.
I wasn't paying attention.
I know you don't pay attention to me, but it's this little Santa. It says "Believe" on the bottom. It's cute. It's holding a sleigh.
It's a Dimensions Gold kit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty nice. The threads all came on that bar we were talking about. So I just wound them all
Bobbinated
up.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
That's
wrote all
good.
the numbers on. Thanks. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm already kind of bored of it, but but I brought it today. I'm like, I'm going to work on it. I like it because it has music notes in the back. You'll see with the picture I put up, but there's little music notes back here. I don't know what it is. I'm going to play it on the piano and see what it is. Well, wait. Oh man.
Did they just make it up?
Look, these notes aren't even on a staff. The staff those are really high, super high notes there. And these are on staffs, but yeah.
You have to make them musically correct.
I will. Oh, there's an accent there and a chord. They're just little pieces.
Have we mentioned that you went to a music school?
Yeah, I went to the same music school that my daughter's at in New England. So, but yeah, I'll have to fix those notes, make sure they're correct. There's no clefs or anything, so they
Well,
didn't
you
get
know,
that wrong.
when I was working as a graphic designer, I don't remember what we were doing, but I was putting letters all over, and I had some that were backwards and upside down and stuff. And my boss said, "No, you can't do that because
You mean notes?
No,
Notes, letters.
I said, "You can't do that because people will try to read it and it's annoying." And I said, "Really? Well, how about that thing with the music notes that were wrong, that were backwards?" And she goes, "Well, that's different." I said, "No, it's
That's
not."
a language.
I said, "If you read music,
Yeah.
you
It's
go,
huh?
that's not right. That's not a note."
Yeah.
The worst, like people who don't know that stems always go on a certain side. If they're going down, they're on the left. If they're going up, they're on the right. You know, and I mean, some,
And then things like note flags,
the
like
flags. You know,
notes
well,
and-
some older like European scripts have the flags going toward the
yeah, but
toward the
generally,
note, but usually they're
yeah,
if they're up, they're over here.
Yeah.
If they're down, they're under here like that.
yeah.
So and it you know or
Oh, well,
like
and there was somewhere, what's it on?
or not the right amount of beats in a measure. And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I think it's on YouTube or something, or on Facebook or something. Whatever. I don't remember where I saw it. That thing that like, I guess like some ads or whatever have somebody posing with an instrument,
Oh, those are the worst.
and they're always like holding it wrong or
the violin's all
faking it wrong
backwards
or
with the wrong hands.
Well, it's just like when you see people doing the what do you call it? Trying to pretend they're playing the flute and they have their hands like this.
Yeah, all wrong.
Instead of like, you know.
But the thing is, it's like,
or they have it
I
like
could
this on this
understand.
side. You know?
I mean, maybe I could understand it like when we were kids,
Uh-huh.
where maybe a model wouldn't have any access to somebody, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it is 2021. I mean, 2021, and you have access to YouTube, and you're gonna do a photo shoot. And you're gonna hold. There's someone says you're gonna hold a violin today. You can say, hey, pull up a video of someone playing the violin, so I know that my left
Or at
hand
least a
goes
picture
here,
or something.
and that the bow goes across here, not like this, like.
But they
It's
don't
so
think it matters.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like it is a language, and you know, it's kind of cool. I was thinking about that the other day. I was reading something. I was looking at a piece. Oh, I think my daughter. I was looking at a violin piece or something, and I was looking at it, and I realized, you know, it is like reading a language.
yeah.
You could hear it in your head. You can imagine it. You know exactly. You know, I don't have perfect pitch, but
you know what the notes
you
mean.
can,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what they should sound like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. So
Okay.
anyway, that's me. That's me
Okay.
this week.
So I'll go next.
You go next.
Because your story very interesting. So I've been spinning for MAYNIA, and this is not the project that came up. This is the wolf again. Once again, I'm still working on it because I've been trying to. It came up early in my MAYNIA spinning. It came up on the 2nd of May. But the 2nd of May was a Sunday, and so I had church in the morning, and then we went out to eat lunch, and then
To Rachel's that night.
yeah, and then that evening we went to my sister-in-law's house because it was her mother's birthday,
Yeah.
and so to remember
To
her
honor
mom,
her.
we had a dinner party, and then we were there really late, and then so I had and I think in the afternoon I had like basically taken a nap, and then in the evening I was exhausted, and so I ended up like stitching very little that day, and I didn't have. I think I had just a little bit to go, and I worked on. I think it was last Saturday or Saturday.
you were
Yeah,
working on it
I
last
finished.
Saturday.
I went to try to finish it. Well, I finished all the regular stitching, and I
Yeah.
started on the back stitching and stuff. And part of it is.
So when you get to the mountains, you're gonna throw it at him.
Yes, I'm gonna have to. Cause like,
This
here's
is
your
like
present.
this is the snowman of
That would-
2021.
That would look good with the sticks too.
Yeah, but so I want to FFO it, while I'm here. So I really only have this next week.
Yeah.
A
week from
because
Monday.
yeah, because a week from Monday we're going to the mountains, and I don't want to have to take anything to work on it. I want it to be done by then. So I've been trying to like sneak in work, and the other day, so I'm kind of behind on my MAYNIA stuff. I've been stitching in the middle of the night, at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm going to finish this thread, but so today I had spun in the middle of the night, early this morning, whatever. I spun the one I'm supposed to work on today.
I have
is
another story. Sorry.
my 2019 Santa, Prairie Schooler Santa. That's like it's been languishing since 2019. I started it, and it's like maybe not even halfway finished yet. But anyway, I was supposed to work on that today. But I'm trying to finish.
I was going to tell
the
you,
wolf.
I would there is no MAYNIA police.
I
Just
know.
do your thing and finish it so you'll feel better.
Yeah, but anyway, if I take a day and work on this wolf and finish it, then
you'll
I
be
can,
happy.
if I go to the 22nd in
Yeah.
MAYNIA, won't kill me. But anyway, so I'm working on the back stitching now, and the only problem is that I'm having to refer to the picture a lot because here, it lists just a handful of colors, like there's some back stitching in black, and then everything else is straight stitching. It's a little like hairs, to make the wolf look fluffy, and then there's like back stitching along this one side of the one tree there.
Yeah, just leave all the back stitching.
And so I was like, okay, well, this is white.
Tim's
and
not going to go look at it and say,
I know.
there's not enough back stitching on this. The back stitching is
He's probably
the
not
wrong
even
color.
knows. But like on the chart where the back stitching and colors are listed, there's one line that's for like a regular brown, and that's this around the wolf's muzzle here, mouth, and one line that says, do all these in darkest brown, and I know that's the color that's along this tree here. But when you look at the chart itself, well, and this under the straight stitch heading, the line that says they do these in brown and do these in darkest brown, they look the same. They look absolutely the same. And when you look at the chart, they look the same. And so I'm like, okay, but how do they? And so that's why I'm looking at referring to the picture, going, okay, they did this part in brown and this part in, So it's a pain in the neck to try to get, and and then the other thing, I'm trying to kind of like, it's pretty easy in some places. Like, okay, the tips of the ears, it's the outline, but then the rest of it is just like these little crazy lines, and I'm like, do I really need to? I don't need to do exactly.
No, you don't.
It's like, okay, just gonna make it look kind of fuzzy, and
You're
So-
going to do
That's
it exactly
cute.
like
Like
I have.
on
I know you.
On the hair, like the little hair on the head. We'll
Yeah.
take a picture of this. So I
Yeah.
don't think we've shown it in a while. Maybe we did.
yeah.
But yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's a pain in the neck to do because
Yeah.
it's like, how many of these am I? Where am I? How many have I done? I mean, so it's kind of like, yeah,
You have to just throw caution to the wind
yeah.
and just do it.
So
That's not
But,
in her
uh,
nature at
yeah.
all.
No, it's not.
my other, I have my other quick stories. I have a little thank you card from one of our viewers, Teresa. And I still don't know
So
how to say your
sweet.
name, your last name. Chuckle, I don't know.
Should send us a pronunciation.
Yeah, send us a pronunciation code.
But so this
Teresa,
is
please.
a really nice little thank you note that she sent me.
That's so sweet.
Uh, with a little Starbucks card
Aw.
inside.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. So it's
We'll
really
take a
cute.
picture
With a
of
little
that.
deer.
That's so
and,
cute.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Teresa. She didn't have to send it, but thank
That's
you
so
so
sweet.
much. But yeah, my interesting news this past week is that I broke a tooth. So I've been sort of been
Welcome to the family.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've done it before, but my teeth from I refer to it as my misspent youth. I have all I had a whole bunch of fillings in my lower molars, and when I lived in Little Rock, my dentist, I had dental coverage, and I went regularly for cleanings and all that stuff, but some of these fillings, my tooth was like, more filling than tooth. And I, would develop cracks and stuff like that. And so anyway, I ended up like with 3 crowns, but I had my very back molar had an old fashioned silver filling in it or whatever. And it was like more filling than tooth. And the other day I was eating this it's called Zen Party trail mix, and it
Sounds
has
good.
like,
Where is it? I want some.
it's gone
No. Where did you get it?
at Target.
She's
But
constantly buying all different kinds of trail mix. She loves
yeah,
it.
but
Lately,
it's
she
like,
loves it.
but it has like it had like little rice crackers and flavor crackers or whatever, but it had these wasabi coated dried peas, and they're really good, but they're kind of a little hard. And I guess I was eating one of those, and I must have cracked my tooth, because I remember sort of feeling something, hard, and I guess I thought it was the wasabi pea, and I think I just ate the piece of tooth I broke
no.
up.
So
And then like that night I was getting ready to brush my teeth, and I was like, I was like, what's going on back here? And I was like,
No.
and I realized I must have broken that corner of my tooth. Fortunately, it does not hurt. I'm not in any pain, everything. But
Yeah.
so so I'm trying to I was trying to look for a dentist that's in my since I have Medicare Advantage, I have dental coverage now, which is good.
Nice.
So I was like, looking at the dentist on my plan or whatever, and I was like, I don't know any of these people. I was like, well, do I? These guys are closer to my house, and blah blah blah. But so.
Did you find my guy though?
Yeah, I did. I
told her to
I
call
sent
him.
I sent a text to Rudy, my dentist in Little Rock, to ask if he knew anybody that he could recommend, here in the Phoenix area, but unfortunately he didn't. So I asked Naomi because she had mentioned, she was really happy with her dentist.
Dr. Nisbet, he's a great guy.
So I looked him up and he's on my list. So, but unfortunately they go home early on Fridays, and it was Friday when I thought of it. So yeah, I had to wait till Monday to call him. So in the meantime, I keep thinking, you protect my tooth, because I only chew on my left side now since my surgery. The right side of my mouth is numb, and if I try to chew on that side, I tend to bite my lip. I lose stuff because I can't feel it. It's like when you have a piece of ice or something in your tooth, you can feel the pressure of the ice, but you can't. But on this side of my mouth, I can't. Like I even have lost stuff, like trying to take a pill. If it's on this side of my, it's like, what happened to it? I know I put an aspirin in my mouth. I can't find it, and it's because this side is numb. So I chew everything on this side, and so what I'm worried about is like if I have a crown or something like that. If you have to you try to chew on, if they have to numb up the side of my mouth, I'm going to be in big trouble because.
Happens to you all the time.
You'll deal with it. So a long time ago, I was still working for LVB Design. So
is that when you broke your tooth?
We were at a restaurant. I will not name which restaurant. And I was eating a dish. It was one of those dishes that comes on a hot skillet.
With the skin, with the potatoes and the skin.
Potatoes had skins on them, and they were crunchy. So you had to bite through them. And so when I felt something a little bit hard, I thought it was just
like
a hard skin. No, it was a little round piece of metal, maybe a quarter of an inch. I don't know where it came from. They didn't know where it came from. But it sheared the tooth back here off in half. The root was showing. It was excruciating. And I had a fantastic dentist, and fortunately, I had gone to the dentist, I want to say maybe 2 weeks before that, and had x-rays and everything, so I could prove there was nothing wrong with that tooth before. And the restaurant paid to fix it, but the lawyers for our company went, we can sue them for you if you want. And I was like, no, they're paying for it. You know what? I still have pain there from that, because he could not... I went back so many times. There was so much pain.
You just didn't get a root canal?
No, because the root was there and it was healthy. But because we discussed everything. But there was so much pain there from the root being exposed that he could not give me enough numbing medicine to make it not hurt. And we had a discussion. He goes, I could continue to try to give you more pain, numbing medicine, or I could just work on the tooth. They're both going to hurt.
Yeah.
But he said, I don't know how much more shots you want me to give you. Yeah. Because he gave me like 3 rounds, and it just, it just...
It was on fire, as Dr. Nesbitt says.
Yeah. So...
What did he say? I'm going to stir up a hornet's nest. That's what he says.
So because of the amount of pain I was in when I was working on it, it was difficult for him to get it adjusted for my bite. So I had to keep going back so he could work on it for my bite. And it was months before it calmed down. But even then, it was difficult to brush my teeth and stuff like that because my whole jaw hurt all the time. And he was... absolutely one of the best dentists I had. I mean, after you went to see him...
He gave you a lollipop?
No, but after you went to see him, he would call you.
See how you were.
At the end of the day, he would call his patients and say, do you need pain medicine? I can call some pain medicine in. Are you having any issues with the work I did? And, you know,
Dr. Nesbitt,
very sweet man.
He's so nice. His number one thing is he does not want you to hurt, and he will do everything to keep you from hurting. And if you're, like, if somebody calls to try to get in, because I've been sitting there in this room, and somebody will come and say, you know, so and so needs to come in, and he'll say, are they in pain? And they say, yeah. And he goes, well, get them in. Like he just does not want you to just suffer. You know, he's so nice.
The good thing for me when I was in Little Rock was Rudy, my dentist. He was my Sunday school teacher when I first went out there. So he went to my church, and so I think was when I had my wisdom teeth out. I went to church and I saw him when we were leaving, and he's like, oh, how are you feeling, you know, and I told him, well, I have a little bit of pain, you know, something, and he goes, and I described it, whatever, and he goes, it sounds like you have a dry socket, why don't you come in on Monday, and, you know, he took care of it, yeah, but, you know, I don't have, I have a tendency to not have a lot of, you know, of pain when I get dental work and stuff like that. I, you know, give me a round of them shots and I'm, you know, fine. Yeah. But one thing that he did one time was that I can't remember what the story was. That I had I don't know if I had a chip or something like that in my lower front teeth. I had a little sharp edge, and so one time that I was in there and to get I guess I was getting my teeth cleaned or something like that, and I happened to have had that issue had happened just before, I guess. So I had this little sharp edge on my teeth, and so when I told them about that, you know, they filed it down and whatever. But it's like all of a sudden I couldn't feel my teeth, because you know how you kind of get used to how your teeth are and what you feel in your mouth when you chew or whatever. And so it was like, because that little edge was gone, or because of the way my teeth fit together, it was like all of a sudden, like my teeth had disappeared or something. It was really weird. It was the weirdest feeling, because like I thought, well, that's so strange, and okay, well, I can live with that. And then when I was, you know, like signing out or paying my bill, whatever I was doing and getting ready to leave, I was like, no, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. So they took me back in
and put the chip back.
And they did this and that and the other. So it was like, okay, I could feel my, you know, I could.
That's weird.
Feel it was very strange, and it was, you know, it was the weirdest sensation to like have my teeth disappear. Like,
that's strange, Beth.
It was very weird. I don't know what. I still don't know to this day what happened exactly. You know what? Like,
I can't feel my teeth.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
Now that we've talked all about dentistry,
so,
oh wait, I have one more story.
What?
So this morning, okay, I know Mark is a subscriber, but he doesn't watch. So today, the Knit Stars season 6 yarns went on sale, and I always do this. I chose everything I was interested in, and then I go to the checkout page, and it was like $500, and so I deleted a whole bunch of stuff. But I mean, I just do that to kind of think about it, like to think like, what
yes,
do I really
I do that too.
Want, you know? Yeah. So I picked Casapinka as one of my favorite designers, and she's a Knit Star this year. I was so glad, because even last year, in the middle of 2020, she did some really great things. One of the things she did was she put out a design called Breathe in Hope, and she gave it free to anyone who bought a yarn kit from any local yarn shop. So she sent the patterns to the yarn shops, and so if you went in or you shopped online and you bought them, so like Tempe Yarn and Fiber was closed, but they, you know, to people for, you know, during the height of the pandemic, but you could call and they would shop for you and stuff. So if you bought that, the yarn there, that you got the pattern free. So that she did that to support local yarn shops. I thought that was so great. And then we had that mystery knit along with Sharon from Security, her kitty cat. It's so funny because I think what happened was in the middle of 2020, she had Sharon from Security, and she would be on her YouTube channel a couple times, just the way cats are, hanging out. And she just started this whole story about how she was a spy and and everything. And somebody, I think it was on Instagram, complained. Like, you don't come here to see stories about the cats or whatever. So then that started a whole thing. So she's like, fine, my cat is going to design this mystery knit along. It was so funny. But, and I mentioned at some point, I'm like, if you're not a knit star next season, I'm going to be mad, because I thought she really should be. And then lo and behold, the Knit Stars, the Knit Stars list came out and she was on it. So I bought her yarn. It's 3 skeins. It's beautiful colors, 2 solids and 1, 2 solids and 1 like variegated. And then there's another designer who is Navajo, and she is doing, because it's all about color this season, and she's doing she's making it's a headband you knit in color work. So there's 3 beautiful sort of southwesty looking colors, and I'm like very interested in her class and in her perspective as a Native American. And so I got that yarn, and that put me just over the threshold for the free bag, which is what I am all about. Next week I'll bring my season 5 Knit Stars bag so you can see it. So it's really big. It's got beautiful pockets and everything. But so anyway, this morning the link went live at 5 a.m. our time, and I guess yesterday people who owned all 6 seasons, they're called All Stars, could buy, and then today it opened up for everybody else who has purchased season 6. And so I was like, oh, I probably will be able to be up at 5. And sure enough, I woke up, it's 5:30. I'm like, oh, I'm going to order. And it turned out they did run out. So what they do is they partner with independent dyers. And so these dyers say we can make X amount of this between now. So I don't think they've made it yet. I think they're in the process of it, and they plan to. So we don't get the yarn till like October. And so, but so they plan like how much they can make, and so it can sell out. And I guess the Casapinka's yarn set's sold out. So I'm so glad I got in and got it done. Well, while the husband slept next to me, didn't know how much I was spending. Anyway, that's just me. But anyway, so that's my story. My clandestine shopping this morning at 5 a.m.
So I bought a swimsuit online.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, at
that's fun.
3 or 4 in the morning. It's like
when you make those bad decisions.
Yes. I just I got up to, I don't know, go to the restroom or something like that, and I was looking at my phone, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get a swimsuit.
I was upset because
I've been talking about it.
I kept falling asleep while I was trying to order that yarn, and I'm like, darn it! And you know what? Somebody on the Facebook page said that they had the Casapinka yarn in their cart while they were deciding on other things, and it sold out. Oh. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't accidentally sleep through that. So I would have been sad.
You didn't fall asleep with your thumb on the button.
Yeah, you don't have to have the yarns to do Knit Stars. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And because you don't have to make any of the projects when you're watching them. Like I'm still working on stuff from season 4 and season 5. Oh, also, don't tell my husband, but I have not used a single inch of the yarn that I bought for season 5 last year. Because remember I'm making that rainbow sweater? That's my practice sweater before I actually used the yarn for that sweater to make for myself. So I didn't want to practice on the nice stuff. But yeah, there's a couple of skeins in my closet that I have not used yet from season 5, but I will. And I will. I'm more excited. I said something about buying yarn. He said, maybe you should use the yarn you already have. I am. I said, I am doing Mania, and I have I have 11 works in progress, and I'm working on them. But I'm still going to buy more yarn. Okay, anyway, that's my adventure for this week. And now I lost the stitches I was doing.
I'm working on the same bookmark I was working on a week ago.
But it looks great.
I'll take a picture of it, but I'm getting quite a bit of work done on it. But this is the most complicated one of the spring bookmarks, and it's very much one stitch here, one stitch there. Some of the colors have like 6 stitches, So I've gone through and I do it until I'm done with all of that color. And I've gone through, I don't know, 9-10 colors, but it takes longer when you have to, go down and find that other one.
That's the one thing I don't like about cross stitch, is having to change threads and all that. Sorry.
Well,
Well, it kind of depends on the pattern, and whether or not you're a color completist, or as some say, or if like a motif completist. Like if you were stitching on like this little holly border, you could do the green and go all the way up.
I know, but even so, like, anyway.
Well, and also it depends on whether you want to cut, carry threads or whatever. Like that was one thing that was really hard about this pattern, this wolf pattern, is it's very pixelated, and the parts that are stitched basically are full coverage. So every single square is stitched, and every square is like a different color. That's why I made a working copy. This is the original chart. But I made a working copy of the chart so that I could, it's like, okay, these are all gray, and mark them all off.
Sorry, Eve, I didn't mean to hijack your story.
Beth is hijacking it.
But I mean, so it, whether you're not working on, like
I was talking.
I know. But you're working on like motif by motif, right? Are you working on? Are you working on color completist?
Because if I did motif by motif, it would just be more frustrating, because it's the same, it's repeated colors. Anyway, so I've been working on this, but I've also been working on several other projects at the same time, plus working on finishing stuff. And I told myself, well, if I take a day and don't really do any cross stitch and just do finishing, that I will be able to get quite a bit of finishing done. But I had watched a video by Helen. It was her YouTube channel is Helen D, and she has a free pattern that she talked about on this video. But she did this beading. We'll show a picture. I have a picture of this. I finished this little turtle, and I decided to use that beading.
Love that edge on that.
I decided to use that beading on the edges because I really liked what she did. Now, I didn't do it nearly as well as she did.
It's so cute, though.
But I really, and this is, I finished it, just like a little pin keep, or your needle stand. Anyway, so it's not on the Etsy site yet, but I've taken the pictures to do it. It's just, I've been trying to, this took me all day. All day. Now, the actual beading of it wouldn't have taken all day. But I had to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Then, as I was working on it, I kept getting frustrated because in this, I was using 3 beads of each color, rotating them, and I wanted them to be at an angle like she had on her video, and they would not lay flat. They just wouldn't lay flat, and I finally said, well, it's because I didn't stuff it as fat as it is right here. And so I unstitched the top and stuffed some more, stitched it back closed again so that I could do this beading because I really, 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 really wanted it. And so she has a great tutorial on doing this. Hers is red, white, and blue because her pattern is a
4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July pattern. So, but she saw this on somebody else's YouTube, and she says in her video whose it was. So it's I don't remember if it was 2 videos or 1, but that's where I saw this.
That's so
And
neat. Though.
I was just really, really happy with it. So, part of today, I was working on finishing this, and I do a, what's it called when you sew it back in the back like that?
Lacing?
Lacing. I laced it onto that, but I was gonna make some.
I'm trying to find the spot in the sun. That's why I keep moving.
I was gonna make some paper flowers to go on that little piece of wood that I showed you, and I saw some instructional videos on it, and I was like, well, yeah, but I don't want that kind of flower. I want this kind of flower, because I started cutting it out for daisies, and I was like, I don't like how that looks, and these aren't daisies. So I started it, and I was going to work on it while I was here, but you know, I started it and I was like, okay, I can't do that. I can't concentrate on it because I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm having to make it up from whole cloth. So, remember you said on that reverse engineering?
Yes. Yes.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like, okay, I saw a daisy instructional video, but I don't want a daisy.
You want something else?
I want something else. But I like that. I liked the centers because all of these flowers have little yellow centers, and then she was probably going into more detail than you need, but she was using 90-gram crepe paper, and I don't have the colors I want in 90-gram. I have them in 180-gram. And
is it thicker or thinner?
It's thicker, but that's not the issue. It's let's see if
I mean, yours is thicker.
okay. So this is 180-gram crepe paper, and it has these ridges that go across. This paper is very stretchy.
That's spilling.
I know. This paper is very, very stretchy. So I can take something that's tiny like this, and when I manipulate it, it becomes quite a bit bigger.
I see.
Okay, so the 90-gram is more lightweight. Now see, I'm stretching this little petals here. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but it was tiny and now it's bigger. So, and you can actually stretch a piece like this, you know, pretty big, you know. The 90-gram, this is 90-gram, is more flat. Now, if you look at it very carefully, you can see the machine lines. And they're both just about as crinkly. This stretches okay. It has a lot more stretch than the product I was using in the video last week, which is called Doublet, and that's two pieces like this put together. And that one doesn't stretch very well. And so I was making that rose, and I was like, I'm gonna make another one with either 90-gram or 180-gram, because with the 180-gram, I would be able to really get those leaves, you know, manipulated. But
so you
can't
stretch them at the bottom, and that's what makes that curve. Like
you stretch them at the top. Well, you can stretch them wherever you want, but you can stretch more at the top than you do at the bottom. You know, any of those.
So is it kind of like how fabric? If you cut it on the bias, you can really stretch it.
Yeah, you have to stretch with the grain.
Yeah.
Let me cut a piece of this off. Hold on. This is the 180-gram I'm doing, and the 90-gram will stretch, but not quite as much. But it still stretches really well. So it's not very big. And you just keep
Oh, wow.
pulling it. And you can shape it and make it, bigger on one side than on the other side. And you can
That's
even,
cool.
you can
Yes.
even, put little,
Little flutes in it.
mhm.
Oh, wow. I want to make paper flowers. I want to have another craft that I won't finish.
I've always enjoyed this. I haven't done it in years and years, and
I remember we used to make, oops, I ripped it. We used to make flowers.
see how
That's
much it
fun.
stretches? Yeah. And you can really manipulate it. Now the doublet is harder to manipulate. You can do it, it's just harder. And the 90 gram and the doublet
That's cool.
work better in smaller things, but I wanted a better stretch.
Is
So
it stretching because it's taking all these wrinkles, like, because you know how it's
Yeah.
like corrugated almost.
kind of, yeah.
I see. Fascinating.
Yeah. So so
My
because
extent of crepe paper knowledge is making streamers for parties. And you twist them, they look so pretty.
and that is not this is Italian crepe paper, and the 90 gram is German. I think other countries are starting to do more of the different weights, and so it's kind of fun to see what it'll do and
Yeah.
how you can manipulate
Well, I'm
it.
really surprised at those flowers you make because they're so realistic looking.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of YouTube tutorials. Now that's not where I was learning it, and some of them are not as what is the word I want to use? Not as realistic looking,
Mm-hmm.
and their techniques I kind of go, well, I like the way that flower looks, but I don't like that technique.
Yeah.
So I like the techniques that I learned from the Skillshare class, and yeah, so I'm wanting to change what they do more to what I learned before, and one of the things that one of the YouTube channels actually started following her because I like the flowers that she makes, and she's the one that was making the daisies. But
Is that the one in Spanish?
no, there was one she made beautiful flowers, but it's in Spanish and it has no English subtitles. When I went to try to put the subtitles on, I could have Spanish subtitles, but not English ones.
Oh,
So,
I made a mistake.
but this young lady actually gave some information that if you were taking a class that was supposed to teach you everything you should know about making paper flowers before you start making paper flowers, don't you think that a good piece of information would be this paper needs to be kept out of the heat? Now, I already knew it should be kept out of sunlight, but it'll fade with the heat. Well, I had it stored in the garage, and it's already over 100 degrees every day here. So I moved it inside, because that's kind of an important little clue there. If you want to protect your investment, this paper is not horrendously expensive, but by the time you count in getting different colors and getting different weights and getting all the wire and paying for the shipping and the little spun cotton balls and all that, you spend some money. You want to protect your investment.
I just want to let you guys know that there's going to be one less X of white in Santa's suit because I messed it up. And I'm not pulling it out.
Nobody's going to care.
I don't care. Right here, I think it's supposed to be white right there. I don't know, but I'm just going to fake it. I'm so mad.
I've been making an effort.
The problem is, look at these. There's all reds, but they're all different color reds.
Yeah.
And I can't tell anything. Once I put the crosses in there, I couldn't almost even tell which ones I had done and which ones I hadn't.
That's why I like to do one color at a time. Because then I don't get lost.
No,
but then you
I
have
mean,
to count a lot.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't even matter, because even if you had done all of this color red, then when you come back to do that color red, you still can't see them when they're all in front of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's just
try doing this one.
No. No. So
It's like,
anyway,
well, that's it. Like, I kept finding like squares that were where I hadn't stitched them because this, you know, I dyed this Ada cloth, and it was like the same shade as one of the colors that I was using. It was like, oh, I didn't do. It's like I'd have to get it like in the bright light, and I realized, oh, that's a blank square. I didn't stitch it or whatever.
That's what was happening to me on the snowman.
Yeah.
oh, that's what I did. It's this square right here. Okay. Now I'm all.
Did you get that pen from the Crayola factory? Crayola Experience
No,
shop?
that Crayola Experience is a really cool place. But no, this is a set of those twistables.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I just stole it. It's just a colored pencil.
So
Shoot.
this little color right here,
Disappointed me.
same color as the fabric.
Yeah.
Almost virtually the same color. And I thought about changing it, and I said, nah. Because it's a tiny little motif, 5 stitches. And not all of them are that color, so, you know, you can see it. Yeah, so. Oh, so my big story this week was I went grocery shopping yesterday. And one of the things I'm making is some nachos or something. And we were out of my son's favorite salsa.
Salsa.
Yeah, it's 505 green chili salsa. And actually, it was mostly gone. I had to go, I couldn't find it at first. And I was like, oh no, they have all the 505 sauces, but I can't find the salsa. There it was, in the back, in the corner, in the dark. I got it. And, you know, guacamole and other things to go with it. It didn't say to buy those things, but, you know, who eats nachos without guacamole? So one of the other things that I purchased was a jar of pickles, not for the same dish.
Ooh, I love pickles.
And my sister Beth was putting stuff in the refrigerator, and I was going to say, do these pickles fit in there so that they'll be cold when we use them, you know? And I had taken the pickles out of those stupid plastic bags, and I guess when I did that, the bag kind of, it was near the edge of the table. The green chili salsa just rolled out and landed on my bare foot on the tile and shattered. Glass and salsa went everywhere. Fortunately, I didn't get cut or anything. I had little tiny pieces of glass in my foot, but my son was there, and he came and got a little dustpan and broom set that I'd had since he was, I don't know, 6, 7. and he goes, Mom, we're throwing this away. And so he just scooped up what he could of the major parts of it and wiped up the floor to try to get more. But I am still finding glass all over.
Well, shortly after that, when I was sitting there, you know, we were eating lunch right after that happened, and I went to we were going to take out or something like that. I don't remember. And I went to go throw my my trash away, and as I got up, I saw something because the sun was, you know, coming in the window, and I saw this little glint on the floor, and I had, fortunately, I had like some pieces of paper I was going to throw away, and that had come in the mail, you know, junk mail, and so I used those to like scoop up the the little pieces of glass. I was able to just
You have to
shovel them up.
You have to like stand in different angles to see it.
Yeah.
Well, and
But,
so I was gonna sweep just the kitchen, area where it fell. But then last night I was walking out of my dad's room. So our house is extremely long. And so I'm pretty sure there's no glass in this room. But
100%.
what she's talking about was in the kitchen proper area,
Yeah.
and we eat just past the kitchen island. And then there's a living room, another living room area over there, and past that is my dad's room. And in that other living room area is where I have my television, where I stitch. And I was walking from my dad's room, and past that, right around where the TV was, there was a piece of glass in front of it. So it went everywhere.
It goes so far. I can match that story. When we very first moved into this house 11 years ago, my house, I dropped a jar of. Did you know that most cabinets the kick plates don't go all the way up to the cabinet?
Yeah.
I dropped a spaghetti sauce right in the corner of the kitchen, so here's the fridge, and here's a tiny little piece of cabinetry, and then the counter, and it fell right in the corner, completely shattered, spaghetti sauce everywhere. And so I was trying to clean it up, and I was reaching a paper towel under the cabinet, over the kick plate, to behind the kick plate, and there was still tons of sauce. I bet there is a giant puddle of dried sauce. Because, after a point, you just can't get it.
Well,
You
yeah.
just can't get it.
I remember when you.
I'm not going to move those cabinets that are there.
When you lived on Redfield and you dropped a bowl. I think it was in Redfield.
Yes.
You dropped
A glass bowl, a glass mixing bowl, my
Mhm.
precious. Yes, it was the big one. I have the middle and the little one at home. You gave those to me, Eve, as a wedding present, and I dropped it. And and it everywhere. And what's funny was the dog I'd find her, what are you chewing?
God.
A big piece of glass she found under something, because things just go like that.
We had to throw the dog in my dad's room because she's really good at finding things she shouldn't put in her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Glass is the worst.
I hate dropping glass. It's just and I go around the house barefoot. I hate shoes, and I've had to wear shoes yesterday, today. I'm not happy.
They say Corelle doesn't break. That it
B5200, 8 stitches.
That's why I hate cross stitch. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Corelle, right? It's supposed to be non-breakable or non-shatter. Not true.
No, not on these tile floors.
No, if you drop a plate, it won't fly as bad, I guess, but it still has all these tiny little shards and stuff.
Oh yeah, this glass was like, and it's just a jar this big.
And you would
You'd think how could it have so much?
Right, and the liquid would keep it from flying.
Going everywhere. No, the liquid goes with it. So there's splatters of stuff everywhere.
It's like a crime scene.
When I lived in Little Rock, there was, it was kind of a mystery as to who was doing it. But then I figured out in my back window of my apartment, I lived in the corner. And my bedroom was in the very corner of the building. So, and catty corner from our building. The back end of our building looked onto the back end of, there was an old apartment building and a little apartment house, I guess. And there was an apartment on the back of that house. And one time, I was home in the evening, and the couple that lived in that apartment, it was a guy and a girl, and they were, I guess, I don't know, yelling at each other, having some kind of a fight or something in the yard of that house, or that little house. And I think the girl had the key to the house or something like that, and the guy was trying to get the key, and they were fighting about whether or not she would give him the key or something like that. And then she was kind of like, you know, yelling, you know, help me or something, you know, weird like that. And I didn't know if she was just doing it to give him a hard time or if he was actually gonna, you know, threatening her. So I went ahead and called the police, you know, and then like, I guess I didn't give a good description about how to find that apartment, because there was like a sort of a U-shaped drive, and this little apartment house was in the back of that, you know, you had to go down that U-shaped drive, and where our apartment building was, there was like a fence. So if you came in behind our apartment building, you couldn't get through to where that other apartment house was, little house. Anyway, so I had, you know, called the police, and I made the mistake of like going out on my balcony to sort of look at them, you know, and so they
knew it was you.
Yeah, I think they saw me.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so by the time the police came and, you know, to look around, they had gone in. She had given him the key. I guess they had gone inside. So then, sometime later, and I didn't make the connection at first, but later on I did. So fortunately, this was in the summer. I was already in bed, but I had fallen asleep with the light on, and before I know it, this bam, and I jerked up, and my other cats, Hotspur and Cyrano, were on the bed with me, and they went flying, you know, jumping out of there, and I couldn't tell if it was a gunshot or rock or whatever, but fortunately, this rock didn't come through the window, but it hit the window, and like, it was a double pane glass window, and it broke whatever had hit, which it turned out to be a rock, hit the window and like broke both panes of glass. Jeez. And glass just went whack over my bed into my room everywhere. And I had called, you know, I like kind of sat up, and fortunately it was like across my body, not my head was in the corner away from the window. But like I said, I'm calling the police, you know, and I called 911, and I was afraid, like the cats, you know, after the initial impact, the cats started to come back in. I was like, get up, because I was afraid they would step on glass, you know. And as it was, I think I had a little piece in my foot from trying to get out of bed because, you know, and
the mean streets of Little Rock.
Yeah, and that was when the police came and they were looking and they said, well, it's not a gunshot, because if it was a gunshot, you know, there would be a hole in the wall with a bullet or whatever, you know, and it didn't come through. And like I said, the screen kept the rock from coming in the window. But as it was, I had to, like, you know, call and tell the landlord about the glass, and they had to call somebody to get, it was like special order, you know, glass or something like that. So I had put I had a piece of cardboard that I had taped over the window, and then like I had my vacuum cleaner, you know, and I vacuumed up, tried to get all the glass, and I kept finding glass everywhere. Yeah. And like when, you know, I had there was like what I called the alcove right outside the bedroom was this little area.
You're about to pull that thread off.
Yeah, and there was like a closet, and then the bathroom door and everything else. There was a little, you know, it was just a little thing outside the bedroom, and the glass went all the way out there, and it went like sometime quite a while.
Weird.
Yeah, quite a while later, I was vacuuming in there, and where the carpet was up against the wall underneath the thing, there was a piece of glass under there, you know. But that was the time when the police officers were like, well, maybe it was an owl. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that was done by an owl. So for a long time, there was a running joke with me and one of my friends online that was like, maybe it was an owl. But as it turned out, later on, I found a rock this was in July, I guess, and I had or almost July, because we had shortly after that we had a rehearsal for the 4th of July, the orchestra, and I was telling my colleague about it, and after that rehearsal, I came back and I was looking around out there, and I found the rock, but at the foot of the fence, So I think from that guy's yard, he had thrown a rock at my window, and then it had bounced down, along in the backyard by the fence. And then that was in July, and then in August, I was in bed again with the light on, and I think I woke up early in the morning or something, and I was like, what is wrong with this picture? Because I had gone to bed really late, because I remember I could just see the clouds outside, it was just starting to get light. And then when I woke up sometime, later, and I'm like, what am I looking at? And what it was the outer pane of glass of my window was broken. Again, it had a little, and this time the rock had broken the outer pane, but not the inner pane. And so I had to call my landlord again. I was like, you would not believe this.
Oh my God.
But it happened again. And that time,
that's scary.
There was another, I found the rock outside my window right away. And then the third time.
It happened 3 times? I
Yes.
don't remember this.
Did you call the police every time?
Not the second time, I didn't. But or the third time.
You should have.
Yeah, I know. But so then in September, I think it was, or maybe it was October, I was at my computer, and again it was late at night, and I heard this pop sound, and it sounded like a little bit like when you like break a light bulb.
Yeah.
It kind of sounded like that. And because my first thought was, what do the cats do? They did something, because it sounded like it was in my bedroom again.
Oh,
and I went in there, and it was like, and the cats were looking at me like, what? And everything, looked the same. Nothing was disturbed. Nothing, was broken. And so I couldn't figure it out. And then the next day, I saw on the wall, it hadn't hit the window, but on the wall,
his aim was getting worse.
there was like a mark on there, and it was a piece of like broken brick. Had hit the wall, and it bounced down, and you could see where it had hit the ground below, because it was cement back there. It hit the ground and had shattered like this, and it had shattered away from the wall of the building. So it had obviously hit down there. I could be a forensic person, but it was a piece of a piece of brick. And so, and then after that, because I was like afraid it would happen again, like in the winter when it was cold outside.
Yeah.
But as it was, I think
when you weren't home or something.
As it was, then shortly after that, I think they moved out or something. But I was like,
you should have called the police
both
times.
Yeah, I didn't figure it out until later, and then it was like, I think I did call about the second time, because they said, like something about filing a report, for the insurance or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody came out, because I didn't figure it out until the next morning. I mean, it didn't happen,
It doesn't matter.
But I know. But anyway, so I feel like I said, I think I called, about filling out a police report or something like that. But then the third time I didn't, But yeah, I think it was, like I said, I think it was that neighbor,
It's awful.
Yeah.
People are awful. Remember, maybe we talked about this one week, I don't know. But remember when you were moving into your new apartment here, and we heard this woman screaming her head off?
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, somebody's killing that woman. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. She was screeching and screaming. And we're like,
yeah, we were afraid, like,
and the movers
some
were
kind
like,
of domestic.
The movers were like, don't show yourself. And they kind of went walking around, and we figured out which apartment it was and everything. And we called the police. You remember?
I remember. Yeah, I remember calling the police.
And then
but I remember
they came over to talk to us, and they're like, yeah, she found a cockroach on her balcony. And it flew on her or something. And I thought of you.
That would be me.
She thinks someone was killing her. It was so funny. Which also reminds me of one time we were driving to New Mexico, And we always stopped in Heber, Arizona. It's like right before a turnoff in the mountains. And we always stopped there because it was a Chevron and a Dairy Queen combined. And for some reason, the ice cream at that Dairy Queen is the best ice cream. It tastes better than the regular Dairy Queen. Look at my face. I'm in the light. Anyway, sorry for the striped look on me. But we always stopped there. So we were stopped there. We were letting the dog, go to the bathroom and stuff. And we were eating our ice cream cones. And across the highway, there was like some buildings and then a sheer cliff and then a house up above on the top of that cliff. And from that direction, I keep hearing this yelling.
Yeah.
Help! It sounded like somebody asking for help.
Yeah, it was like literally help over and over again. And I'm like, so I'm thinking someone's trapped in that building, or someone fell from. That's really what I thought it was. Is someone fell from that house, because if you fell down that cliff, broke your legs or whatever, you screaming. And we were like, what is that? What is it? We're like, should we call the police? What should we do? Finally, I said, I can't just drive away. And I don't know why. Now that I think about it, nobody else at the Dairy Queen seemed to care about this person who was literally dying across the highway. So I walked into the Dairy Queen and I said, somebody is hurt.
What?
So nobody else at the Dairy Queen seemed to care that there was someone screaming for help across the highway. Now that I look back on it, I'm like, we weren't all of us going, what is that? Like, so anyway, I walked into the Dairy Queen and I said, I think somebody's hurt across the highway. And I don't know if we should call the police or what. And they looked at me and they're like, it's goats.
Goats.
I'm like, no, it's a person. I hear them saying help. They're like, no, it's goats. I'm like, oh my gosh. So here's the thing. If you ever get hurt in Heber, people will just think it's goats. So,
It sounded like humans.
It did. Totally.
It did.
Anyway. But that's what those stories remind me of.
So if any of you own goats, does anybody think that it's people calling for help? Help! Help! Yeah, that was amusing because they were like, yeah, no.
It's goats. It's goats. It's their goats. I'm like, are you sure? You should go look. Someone's trapped.
It's awful. Somebody's being hurt. So we need to wrap up because I have to go to Hobby Lobby.
Quick before it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer Hobby Lobby. I could go to Joann's or Michael's, but
yeah, okay. Well, I have to go home and clean Hannah's room so she can actually have a room because all my crafts and yarn and everything is in her room.
that's probably going to take you two days, two and a half days.
I'm planning on today, tomorrow, and then I have to make it so that she can have a bedroom. So that's what I'm going to go do tonight. And hopefully tomorrow I'm going to brave it and I'm going to make an angel food cake.
Oh.
We'll see.
Well,
Did you have to go get eggs today?
That's on Fridays.
Oh, yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, today's Saturday. I'm losing time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did finish this little birch tree over here.
Oh, nice.
And I'm working on his ear, so I'm making headway.
Talking about colors that look virtually identical, I did this blue a while back. I'm doing this blue now. Can you tell the difference?
No.
Yeah, there's this here is two different colors of yellow.
Well, I finally just decided to do the charcoal.
I have no sympathy for you whatsoever.
The purple here is different than the purple here, but
well,
it
see,
looks
but
the
the
same.
thing is that this is not my normal craft, and so it's
But-
hard for me.
But I know from
I
designing
have no
stuff
sympathy
because
for you
like
whatsoever.
this turtle is a whole bunch of different colors of green,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's what
I
makes it
thought
look so
about
cool.
I thought about taking out some of the and just making it less or different, and I was like, no, I like the way it looks.
Well, this is so cute. It has a Christmas tree and a wreath.
It gives it more dimension.
Yeah, it does.
So.
It makes it good. I mean, I like it. I don't mind it. It's just like I got really frustrated, and I'm like,
Yeah, this one had not only had colors that were very similar, but then it had blended colors.
yeah.
You
Well, this
know,
one uses
so
blended.
it's-
It
yeah.
says, yeah. No, I was freaking out earlier because I was like looking at this and thought, if I color in these squares, I'm coloring over the back stitching and how I'm like, oh, I have the actual pattern. so I freaked out.
Yeah.
But anyway, we better wrap up.
Yes.
So thanks for joining us. Please subscribe and like and hit the notification button. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know where the remote is.
I've lost the
Is it
remote.
under your-
I lost the remote.
There it is.
Bye.